Here's what I would like to do before we move on to the next step, right? One of the things I want to do is every time we cover a pillar, I want to do like a quick Q&A, or you guys can share with me like what you learned and your biggest takeaway from the session before we move on to the next step.
So with your book funnel, is the webinar on the back end?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So what we do is we run the book funnel at the start, and we get about 2-to-1 returns, and then we get all those leads for free, and then we send them to the webinar next, where we're pretty much getting registrants for free. But if you're starting out right now, I would not recommend building a free plus shipping offer first. I will always start off with the webinar funnel, then the product launch funnel, and then the free plus shipping funnel.
Would you have, if someone's starting from scratch, would you have them start with a live webinar or an auto webinar?
100% live webinar. So like, here's the thing. I've actually only done a live webinar once my entire life. And I know it's hard to believe that. But the reason why I do that is because when I did that live webinar and I ran it as an auto webinar, the conversion rates are already good. But I know that for somebody that's starting out, if you and it's because I have years of practice, right? But if I were to start out all over again, use that weekly webinar as training ground. So for sure, every single week live.
All right, I don't have a question. I just want to tell you, your objection video was phenomenal. Like how you broke it down, I was watching you, how you were doing it and kind of the steps, but I was stuck on that. So thank you for showing that video, because now I know what to do.
Nice.
Thanks. Peng, I love all the videos retargeting people at each step and breaking down their objections there. That was awesome. Just one quick question on after the webinar funnel to product launch funnel, why do you do free plus shipping after the product launch funnel?
That's because a free plus shipping funnel is actually really hard to execute and to get. Most people would be happy with a 1-to-1 return on a free plus shipping funnel.
Yep.
It's hard to be profitable on the front end with just a free plus shipping. So for a person that's just starting out with a free plus shipping, it would be hard to actually make that funnel profitable. Because to create that funnel, you need to have a really good order bump. You need to have the one-time offer 1, one-time offer 2. You will need to have the members area training, which is about 75 minutes long.
Yep.
And if you put all those effort in, I would rather create a good webinar funnel instead, because that's when you get practice as well.
Got it. So it's not on the back of the product launch funnel. It's just that's the last funnel you build.
Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Thanks, Peng.
Hey, I just love that you showing us by example that you stay connected with us and just keep asking questions and see where we're at.
Nice.
2 things we've already gotten from we're going to create the origin videos, because we haven't done that. We've been doing pretty well, but we want to, I think that's a great idea, being able to build those in. And then you said not to run testimonial videos at the beginning. I think that's a great thing, because we do that. So I'm going to change that as soon as we get back. So 2 things. It's only been hour 1. Pretty good. Nice. Thanks.
So I've got a couple of things. First of all, like the first time I ever really heard of you was the affiliate contest that Russell had with the Expert Secrets book. And my testimony about your winning that contest was kind of like your testimony about winning it. Like, who's Peng Joon? Like, because when it started, like I was like in the top 10 or 25 or something. And then all of a sudden, all these people started leaving me. And all of a sudden, you got Tony Robbins, you got all these people at the top. And all of a sudden, boom, it's over. Peng won. Like, who? Like, where'd he come from? And so Tony Sanders. Yeah, exactly. Tony Sanders won. Yeah. And so my big takeaway, I've been doing live events for 15 years, which is a long time. But you make about 10 times the money I make. So there's a takeaway. There's a reason for that. And so I'm like, okay, what's the difference? A couple of things. Number one, you put so much energy into audience building. Like audience building. Like you've got a great message and nobody hears your voice. Then, how much good does that really do you? It does you as much good as it does you, but it could do you 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times more good if you focus on building your audience first. Like I had my messaging down. Selling, closing from the stage. Great. Yeah. I can do that. And by the way, that's a very important thing to learn. But if your messaging is down and you're speaking to 50 people versus 5,000 people, the profitability is going to be very, very different. Like the thing that you have done that's changed my life the most today, and I'm kind of been stalking Ping since I've been stalking you, bro. So I'm just saying. So I got his audience builder thing, his free plus shipping. I said, and when I got it, I already, like, if it's somebody I want their stuff, I already made up my mind. I'm buying all the upsells. I don't care what they are. I don't care how much they cost. I'm buying all the upsells. So he came out with his platform closing. I bought that, all the upsells, and then he came out with his audience builder. I'm doing all the upsells, and for some reason or another, I was doing it on my phone, and I usually do it on my computer, and they weren't working. So I start voxing, Ping, like I can't buy the $1,000 offer. Okay, can I just send you a credit card? And so we go back and forth, and I'm trying to buy this thing, and finally I got it. I don't know why it wasn't working. I ended up literally buying the free plus shipping offer 3 times, and so no, I did, because I wanted that final offer. I got it. The other 2 worked, and the last one didn't work, so I did it 3 times and just got the other ones for my kids, for my son and my daughter. So your stuff is golden, man. I am a fan for life. So thank you.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. I have a question about when you're telling origin stories, does your origin stories always have to be rooted in some sort of pain point? Or can it just be like a feel-good origin story? Is the point to just connect with them, or does it have to revolve around pain? And then I have a second question.
So I try to juggle it between the carrot and the stick, right? Because ultimately that's what people are motivated by. So like with all of my messaging, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on a sales video, or whether it's on through email, I'm always thinking about like, how do I get people to move from here to here, right? So this is like Hell Island, and this is Heaven Island, right? And ultimately, right? So they're in hell right now. So the messaging is always this, right? If you really think about it, what marketers do all the time is they're selling the vision of Heaven Island. They say things like, "Don't you want to make $1 million? Come join us if you want to make $1 million." And when people don't take action, what do? What do marketers do? They say, "What's wrong with you? Don't you want to make $1 million? Come join me at this place," right? So what most marketers are always doing is they're selling the vision of Heaven Island. But if you really think about it, what do you think gets people to take action more? Do you think it's the pain of the present, or the vision of a really comfortable future? Right? Well, people are motivated by different things. Again, carrot and a stick. So what we want to be doing is we want to have that juggle and that balance between selling the vision of heaven and the pain of Hell Island. So we want to be thinking about, so in all of the different videos, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through email, I'm always thinking about, like, why aren't they going from hell to heaven? So it could be the case that they're saying, well, I did try to go across to the Heaven Island, and I bought this blueprint for a raft, but my raft needed this type of bamboo, and this bamboo is not available on my island, and that's why I can't do it, right? So what stopped them from taking action and going from here to here is they have all these different objections, right? There are all these sharks over here, right, that's stopping them from going from here to here. So when it comes to my messaging on Facebook, on email, on any kind of communication, I'm constantly thinking about these 3 things, which is, what is the vision of heaven? What is the pain of hell, right? And what are different objections that stop them from going from here to here? So if I'm creating all these different videos, one of them could be the pain of the present, it could be the different objections, it could be vision of heaven. And just kind of rotate between these 3 things. What makes a very powerful messaging when it comes to pain of the present is if you can pinpoint to a symptom, right? So, like, what is a symptom? A symptom, what marketers like to do is they point to the pain, like, are you struggling with Facebook ads? That's not a symptom. A symptom is if you can point a finger to it, right? If I were to send an email out that says, are you struggling with Facebook ads versus, is your Facebook relevancy score under 6? that is going to be a lot more powerful because for people who can relate to it, they will say, hey, that's me, right? You can point a finger to it. So if you want to be, if you want to take your messaging to a whole new level, think about the pain, but more importantly, what's the symptom to that problem? Okay, so that's how I create all of my different videos on Facebook. One thing to add finally is this. When it comes to Facebook, that could be slightly different in terms of the messaging is because if you're very technical about it, right, and you try to solve their problem, which is like create a Facebook video that says, is your Facebook relevancy score under 6? The problem with that is when it's very step-based and technical, social media is a feel-good place. And the people you attract will be really niched down. So what I like to do, especially when it comes to messaging on social media, is I start with a really broad message first to create that retargeting audience. And then from there, I will run the ads with a more specific topic and niche it down. Okay, so that's what you want to be doing. Start broad and niche it down with your ads so that you can segregate them into the different funnels. Make sense?
Yeah, that was amazing. The second question, if I could do one other quick one, was earlier when you said you did your first speaking gig and you bombed. I don't remember if you elaborated, but did it have something to do with teaching too much? Because I don't know, just what do you think the root cause of that not working was?
Okay,
even though people were thanking you for your content.
Yes. So the mistake I made was because I came from the angle of, first of all, when I was looking at all these other speakers back then, I was telling myself, I can't believe that these guys are doing well with what they're teaching right now. Like, I'm going to show them how it's really done. So when I went on stage, but I showed them exactly step by step on how to do it. And the problem with that is when we show them step by step and we're not answering a much bigger objection, which is, and we all know this, right? Objection about the vehicle, objection about internal and external. Then what we're really doing is we're just creating a lot more objections for them. Where I made it so my mistake was I made it really step-based. I said, okay guys, to run a successful business online, these are, I think I listed down like 18 things. These are the 18 things we need to do right now. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to waste your time and talk about my story and my struggles and all of that. And I straight went to step 1. Because I thought that as long as I gave them great content, that would serve them best. But what I didn't realize is ultimately I gave them everything, and then the objection that they will have is, that was so good, I just want to go home and implement what I learned right now. Right? And depending on what you talk about, if we do not cover their objections strategically, which is what I'll talk about when I talk about step 3, that will happen when we do that presentation. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, Pink. So one question I have, you talk a lot about your retargeting ads that you're sending to people. I was curious what your sequence is with your follow-up emails. So you're dividing up that audience with your pixels, obviously, and you're knowing who's leaving and where. What's kind of your strategy on your follow-up emails? Because I notice a lot of our funnel hackers are like, oh, I'm struggling. I'm like, you don't have any follow-up sequences. There's nothing in your funnel that does this. And so just curious what your thoughts are.
So I have a very simple follow-up sequence. It's just 2 lists, the cart abandonment list and the buyers. So like my follow-up sequence, like, you've seen Russell show the whole Confusionsoft funnel thing, right? I just have 2 lists. It's just the people who have paid me and the people that hasn't paid me yet. And that's it. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Case? Oh, right.
Yeah. So first of all, this is absolutely amazing, man. Solid gold. So cool. I really like the phased retargeting strategy. It's really powerful, and the warming up of the audiences before they get into the funnel. I think that's something definitely going to implement immediately. The only question I've got, somebody asked, you're taking them from the free plus shipping to your webinar. Is that the free plus shipping to a thank you page webinar, or is it a free plus shipping taking them all the way through that funnel, and the webinar funnel is a totally different funnel altogether?
Right, great question. So I should probably include it in the slides, but basically what happens is they get the free plus shipping, and here's how the free plus shipping offer looks like, right? There's the standard shipping fee, order bump, one-time offer 1, one-time offer 2, and then on the thank you page, which is what Dean Holland talked about at Funnel Hacking. I say, hey, this book that you just ordered, it's going to take about 1 or 2 weeks, depending on where you stay, for you to actually receive it. So rather than waiting 1 week, let's start your training right now. So I go on a board with this flip chart over here, and I teach for 75 minutes, and then I sell a $1,000 offer at the end of it. Now, this entire funnel, the average cart value to that is approximately $52 right now, just that alone. So it's the webinar in the thank you page, but then what happens next is, this is not including the webinar funnel. So $52 average cart value, I'm taking all these leads in here, and then I send them to an actual webinar funnel after that. And because I get a $52 average cart value from there, I know that I can pay up to $52 to acquire a customer and still break even. Now I can become really aggressive over here, pay a ton of money over here, because I'm still getting leads for free. And then now I'm getting all these leads for free to get them to go on my webinar funnel. And then it's still a standard, webinar registration, thank you page, live webinar, which is automated, the replay, and all of that. Yeah.
Can I ask one more? So you said that when you did your first event, you did it for Success Resources and you bombed.
Yes.
And then how did you get back on their platform? Because if you blow it, then you don't get that second chance, but you apparently did. So what was that about? How did that happen?
That's correct. So sometimes I ask myself, did I get lucky or what? But at that time, I was already very close to the organizers because they've been asking me to speak on their stages for a really long time. So they knew what I did, and they knew that my stuff was good, just that I didn't know how to sell. Gotcha. And that's why they gave me a second chance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Hey, Pink, what's the website address for your funnel?
Which one?
The book one, the free shipping.
There's 2 free plus shipping funnels that I have. It's platform closing, which is my closing speaking funnel. And then there's content multiplier formula, which is like the social media
side.
funnel. Right.
Thank you.
All right, so that's the first phase, right? Which is selling the tickets and getting people into the event.